In this Corecon training video, we're going to explore another feature found in the Correspondence module. The Correspondence module can be found in both the leads and projects. Let's go into projects with a project selected, down to Correspondence, and then to RFIs. Architectural, engineering, and construction firms can use the Request for Information, or RFI, feature to document questions and responses from the project team members. Although the journals feature can also be used for submitting questions, the RFI feature is typically used for more important requests that require review, which may or may not impact the schedule or budget. An example of an RFI would be a contractor emailing the architect a question about the interpretation of a construction drawing detail or a note in the specifications. This email would include a hyperlink to Corecon's TeamLink portal, allowing the external team member to respond in a secure manner. In Corecon Global Settings, you also have the opportunity to add RFI types, RFI reasons, and priorities. These are customizable lists that you'll see in this training video as pull downs and allow you to group and categorize different references within the RFI. These can also be used for filtering and sorting records. There's a few reminders before we begin. It's a good idea to make sure that the companies that are referenced on an RFI show in the project directory or lead directory. When emailing an RFI, Corecon provides a link to the TeamLink portal. This is the preferred method, although Corecon does provide an opportunity to print the RFI. By using the TeamLink portal, the coordinator contact will be alerted when a response has been posted in the portal. Response workflows can be enabled, and we will explain those in this training video. Responses that are sent by email and not through the portal will need to be moved from the email module's inbox feature and reassociated with the original RFI. After receiving responses, be sure to mark the RFI closed. This way, only open items will appear in the Correspondence calendar and alerts view. There's also a feature called Create Follow-up RFI, which can create another RFI which should also link the two records. To add a new RFI, under the Correspondence module with a project selected, go to RFIs, to Actions, and Add Manually. We'll select the issue date. The RFI number will be assigned based on the numbering format you selected in Global Settings, and a subject. The type, reason, and priority options are customizable lists in Global Settings. The next section is the companies and contacts involved in the RFI. Note, there are three primary roles that are assigned to an RFI: the originator, the coordinated by, and the respondent. It's important to get these three roles assigned properly, as it plays a large role in the approval process. This illustration shows the three roles: originator, coordinator, and respondent. The originator is usually the company that initiates a question, which could be your firm, suppliers, subcontractors, and others. This is the company that asks the question. The coordinator is typically your firm. The respondent is the company that's responsible for answering the question. This is usually the project owner, the project owner's architect, engineer, owner's representative, or construction management firm. In the lower part of this slide shows different examples of how these three roles can be used based on whether the Corecon subscriber is the subcontractor, GC, or architect. In this case, we have a subcontractor working on the project, and we're going to assign their contact. The coordinated by, again, is typically your firm, and we're going to assign the contact to the project manager. And the respondent would be the project owner and their contact. We're also going to turn on the approval workflow in a few minutes. But at this point, we're just tagging the main respondent company. The others will be added at a later point. Our request would probably come from and initiated by the originator. A very simple question. The originator or coordinator, meaning your company, would make a suggestion. We'll reference a prime contract, a subcontract if necessary, a drawing, and at this point we're going to use the workflow. Now the workflow applies to the respondent. So we'll turn that on. We have the two options where the RFI could be sent for approval or response to two or more companies in a parallel fashion, meaning they go to all two or three companies at the same time and wait for approval or response. We can also use a sequential workflow type, which means it goes to one contact. Once that response or approval has come back, it goes to the next and then to the next. Let's use the sequential. We're going to auto notify respondents, and we'll also leave the schedule impact to be determined and click next. At this point, the originator may want to attach a drawing where the testing method was mentioned. So we'll just drag and drop that into here. I could also select local files or link existing, and we'll click add and finish. If you need to edit the RFI, from the request for information details page, click the edit button. We'll go down to the request line and update this. And we may want to update the priority. We'll also update the status by tagging a company currently responsible. And click Save and Close. Next, we'll go down and set up the approval workflow. So we have the project owner showing up as the first respondent. But let's import another company and add the architect. Back down to the respondents. We can now edit these. Let's change the order. We'll ask for the architect to see and approve or respond to the RFI first, and the project owner second. We'll have these sent today's date with a response date due in 2 days. And we'll give the project owner 3 days. There's no need to fill in the responded date yet. Corecon's going to do that for us. If you need to add other contacts that are not responsible to reply or approve, use the CC recipients. The linked files that we attached have a checkbox next to them that says Show in Portal, so anyone that's referenced on the RFI will be able to access that document, or in this case, drawing. Then we'll click Save. So just to review these RFI roles, the originator is a supplier or subcontractor. The coordinated by is someone within your company. And we have a workflow set up for 2 respondents to approve or reply. The first is the architectural or engineering firm. The second is the project owner. Once that's all ready to go, you could print RFI to respondents, RFI responses to originator, but Corecon recommends that you use the email method so that the TeamLink portal and the TeamLink portal process are referenced. So we'll go to Actions. We're first going to send the RFI to originator. We want that supplier or subcontractor to know that we've received their request and that we're working on it. So we'll go Send RFI to originator, click OK. The originator's name, company, and email address appear. The attachment appears. We could add more attachments at this point. Here's a preview of the email. This will also have a link to the Team Link portal so they know to go in. They'll also get a notification that this was sent to them. And we'll click Send Email. Next, we'll go back to Actions, and we want to send that same RFI to the respondents. This is also going to initiate the approval workflow. Click OK. It's going to send it to the architect or engineer first. The file is linked. And here's a preview of the email with a link to the Team Link portal. And click Send Email. The first respondent received an email regarding the RFI. In this case, the first respondent was the architect or engineer. They can go to the Team Link portal, where they can copy paste the URL into a browser. That opens their RFI list for this project. So we'll open that detail. They have a chance to review. Down to the response. And then they can drag and drop the detail into the rectangle. Once the detail has been uploaded, they go back up to their response and click Save. Move back out. To Corecon V8, we'll go back to the RFI list for a moment just to refresh. Open this again. Now we come down and see the response and the attached detail mentioned. Next, the project owner, who was the second respondent on the list, received an email notifying them that there was an RFI added. They log into their Team Link portal, go down to RFIs, open the detail, they add their response. If they needed to also upload additional documents, they could do that here as well. And then they click Save. Back to Corecon's browser solution. We'll go back to the RFI list. Open it again just to refresh. And now their response is here as well. Once you've received the approvals for both, remember to go back to the Actions and send the RFI to the originator to let them know that you have that answer. That'll notify them the information's available. They can log into their Team Link portal and see the correspondence and the attachment. If a follow-up RFI is needed associated with this original RFI, use the Create Follow-up RFI option. That will also attach it to the original RFI on the RFI logs. Back to the RFIs list. As mentioned, you can print out the individual detail of the RFIs, although we recommend using the Team Link portal method as a better solution. If you need to print the logs, even though we have only one RFI listed, we click Reports. We'll just select one as an example. Again, we only have one RFI on this log. Additional ones would show as you've added them. If you'd like to know more about the information in this training video, we encourage you to go to the knowledge base, to leads and projects, to correspondence, and to request for information RFI article. This includes the information from this training video as well as additional and more detailed information you might find helpful.